The IAR 330 was initially nothing but a slightly modified Romanian license-built variant of the French SA 330 Puma. Then, the First Cold War came to an end, and the latest Western standard subsystems became available for a former Warsaw Pact country. Subsequently, a new lineage of the French wildcat helicopter dynasty was born. As the weapon detective, we are now investigating the IAR 330, the Puma of the Carpathians. The IAR 330 symbolizes many things, including the free spirit of Romania against Soviet hegemony, the great leap forward of this country's defense industry in the 1970s, and a highly beneficial business plan, among others. For 50 years, the Romanians have been adapting many foreign systems and making them more effective and sexy. Produced by Industria Aeronautica Romana, or IAR, this helicopter is no exception. The story of IAR 330 dates back to the early 1970s. Made unwillingly communist by the USSR. After the Second World War, the rebellious spirit of the Romanians against the northern neighbor never faded during the First Cold War. Following the Soviet-Chinese split, this defiance became increasingly evident, and Nicolae Ceausescu, who assumed power in 1965, initiated a derussification policy while fostering good relations with the West. He maintained the country's position in the Warsaw Pact but actively and openly condemned the 1968 invasion of Czechoslovakia. The 1973 oil crisis led to a five-fold increase in oil prices, which in turn boosted Romanian oil revenues, opening up new opportunities. Now, Ceausescu possessed adequate funds to establish a self-sufficient national military industry. The first helicopter of the Romanian Air Force was the Soviet Mi-4, which came into service in 1954. However, following this limited number of acquisitions, Bucharest swiftly shifted its focus to Poland and procured the PZL SM-1 and SM-2s. In 1968, Romania acquired some Mi-8s. However, Ceausescu was unhappy with relying on Soviet materials and invited French Aerospatial and U.S. Sikorsky to explore potential licensing production opportunities in 1973. On October 11 of the same year, Sikorsky presented its S-61. 9 days later, the SA-330 arrived in Romania for demonstrations. Having made its maiden flight in 1965, the French helicopter was a rising star in the market. Furthermore, Romania had already signed an agreement with Aerospatial to produce the Alouette 3 under license as IAR 316 and was quite satisfied with this collaboration. Engaging in business with the leader of the opposing bloc would undoubtedly create problems with Moscow. On the other hand, France was no longer part of NATO's integrated military command, making it more acceptable. In these circumstances, Romania selected the SA-330 on July 30, 1974, and signed a separate agreement to undertake the licensed production of the Turbomeca Turbo IVB turboshaft engine for the helicopter. Although many sources mention the Turbo IVC as the power plant of the IAR 330, the official website of the Romanian Ministry of Defense states that it is the B variant, and the latest versions also use this engine. On October 22, 1975, the first Romanian-built Puma made its maiden flight. IAR produced 15 IAR 330Hs before transitioning to the IAR 330L version. These corresponded to the SA 330H and SA 330L variants, differing only in their engines. Although Aerospatial ceased production of the SA 330 in 1987, Romania continued to manufacture the IAR 330 until 2008. The IAR delivered 163 helicopters, 104 of which were to the Romanian military, 2 to the company itself, and 57 to export operators. Additionally, 6 British Pumas, acquired second-hand from South Africa, were repaired in Romania, following the conclusion of the IAR 330. Manufacturing, Eurocopter Romania, a joint venture between Airbus Helicopters and IAR, has taken over the H215 Super Puma production line. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ecuador, Lebanon, and Romania are the current operators of the helicopter. Côte d'Ivoire, Kenya, Pakistan, Sudan, and the United Arab Emirates have retired the IAR 330. The IAR 330 shares numerous features with the SA 330, including an all-metal, semi-monocoque fuselage. The cabin is linked to the flight deck through an internal doorway and features a folding seat for an extra crew member or cargo supervisor. It's 6.05 meters long, 1.8 meters wide, and 1.55 meters high. Cabin provides 7.8 square meters of floor area and 11.4 cubic meters of usable volume. It is equipped with heating, ventilation, and soundproofing systems. The IAR 330 can transport up to 16 seated soldiers or up to 2.500 tons of cargo, either internally or with an external sling. It also has the capacity for 6-liter patients, with 4 attendants for casualty evacuation. Titanium alloy is used locally, beneath the engine installation, which is outside the main fuselage shell. The helicopter incorporates anti-vibration measures in its main gearbox and main rotor blade. If one or both engines fail, the remaining turbine or the auto-rotating rotor can rotate the drive gears, thereby maintaining power to the ancillary systems even when the engines are off. The hydraulic motors of the semi-retractable landing gear allow the IAR 330 to maneuver on the ground with the main engines turned off. It is transportable by the C-130 Hercules. The Puma has featured in numerous films as an assault helicopter, resembling the Mi-24. The Romanians made this dream a reality even before the IAR 330L SOCAT. Unlike the French versions, the initial variants of the Romanian-built helicopters can be fitted with 23mm single-barrel near 23 gun pods, each containing 400 rounds, 57mm. 16-barrel LPR-57 unguided rocket launchers, and 7.62mm door-mounted machine guns. The Romanians also equipped the IAR 330 with wire-guided 9M14 Malyutka anti-tank missiles and free-fall bombs for trial purposes. Nevertheless, the IAR 330L SOCAT attack variant initiated a new lineage of the French wildcat helicopter dynasty. Following the conclusion of the First Cold War, Romania began to develop an anti-tank capable attack helicopter while integrating its equipment with NATO. The country was already undertaking several satisfactory joint programs with Israel, including the MiG-21 Lancer, ATROM, and LAROM. Consequently, this advantageous bilateral cooperation was also utilized to fulfill the requirement, leading to the selection of Elbit Systems in 1995. With the technical assistance of this company, IAR began converting 24 IAR 330 LS to the SOCAT configuration, named after the initials of System Optronic de Sûreté Anti-Tank, meaning Optronic Reconnaissance and Anti-Tank System. The new variant made its maiden flight on May 26, 1998. IAR delivered SOCATs between 2001 and 2005. The helicopter is equipped with helmet-mounted displays, multifunctional displays, a flight control system, GPS INS capability, and a mission computer. It features a 20mm chin-mounted KNDS France THL-20 autocannon with 750 rounds and is capable of carrying 57mm LPR-57 unguided rocket launchers. Initially, Romania intended to equip the IAR 330L SOCAT with the Malyutka M2T, a local variant of the 83 which features the Milan 2T's tandem warhead. However, this project was subsequently terminated, and the helicopter is now capable of carrying up to 8 Spiker anti-tank guided missiles. The IAR 330L SOCAT can also launch MANPADS-type short-range air-to-air missiles. Other enhancements of the variant comprise the incorporation of hands-on throttle and stick flight control and the introduction of network-centric warfare capability. The IAR 330L SOCAT also has radar and laser warning receivers and countermeasure systems. The IAR 330L SOCAT has a crew of 3. It has a length of 15 meters, a rotor diameter of 16.2 meters and a height of 4.7 meters. The helicopter's maximum takeoff weight is 7,400 kilograms. 2 Turbomeca Thermo IVB turboshaft engines, each providing 1,400 shaft horsepower, enable a top speed of 263 km per hour. The helicopter has a range of 550 kilometers and can ascend to an altitude of 4,800 meters, in other words, 15,750 feet. Between 2005 and 2008, IAR also modernized 16 IAR 330LS to the IAR 330M standards, 4 of which were in MEDEVAC configuration. These utility helicopters have received NATO-compatible avionics derived from the SOCAT but without either weapons or optronic systems. Among other features, the IAR 330M has a weather radar. Due to the cancellation of the IAR 316B program, the Romanian naval forces began to seek a new naval helicopter. Thus, IAR developed and produced the IAR 330 NAVAL, which entered service in 2009. It can be deployed on frigates, Maris SD, Regela, Ferdinand, and Regina Maria, while being too heavy for the Tetel-class corvettes. The company delivered 3 machines to the Romanian naval forces, having the X-band RDR-1700A radar, with a range of 295 kilometers, and the toplight forward-looking infrared system. The rotorcraft lacks a magnetic anomaly detector, sonobuoy laying capability or a dipping sonar, rendering it unsuitable for anti-submarine warfare missions. However, it can still carry Stingray torpedoes. The IAR 330 Naval features mission management, inertial navigation, and night vision systems, as well as multi-function displays, helmet-mounted displays, and GPS. It is fitted with flotation gear housed underneath the nose and main undercarriage fairings. The IAR 330 SM is the variant equipped with Turbomeca Makela 1A1 engines. Developed for the United Arab Emirates, this version has a similar performance to the Atlas Oryx. The company modernized 10 existing helicopters to this standard and also produced 10 new ones. After retiring the type, the United Arab Emirates transferred at least 7 IAR 330 SMS to Lebanon. In 2013, the Lebanese Air Force converted one helicopter into a gunship configuration and equipped it with a 30mm Aden Mk4/5 30mm revolver cannon on a modified pod and a pair of 68mm SNEB rocket launchers. All weapons were taken from decommissioned Hawker Hunters. Although its trial results were successful, the helicopter, redesignated as SA330SM, was not accepted for active service. The eccentric Romanian dictator, Ceausescu, pursued numerous ambitious military projects. Some of them were technically proficient but lacked commercial success. Some others were, to put it mildly, less satisfactory in both respects. The IAR 330 program was a significant achievement. It has elevated the Romanian helicopter industry and gained popularity in the international market, albeit modestly. After Aerospatiale ceased production of the SA330 in 1987, many Puma operators have been able to continue using their helicopters thanks to spare parts supplied by IAR. Once again, the Romanians combined the finest elements to create a more impressive and attractive variant than the original. IAR also developed the only operational attack and naval versions of the Puma. The IAR 330 has become the noble cousin of the French Wildcat helicopter dynasty. Thanks for watching our video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all the likes, comments, and shares.